Joining us now is Blaise Misztal, Director of National Security for the Bipartisan Policy Center. Welcome back to the program.
Good to be with you, Lauren.
Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas says he's hopeful, right, about this peace deal with Israel. And he says it's also time for Israel to end its occupation. This has been happening, this trying to get a deal since the Oslo Accords in 1993. I remember covering it. Is a deal possible?
It might be. I think the better question, is this the right time to be going for a deal? Is this the best use of American energy and resources in the region? You know, you were just in Iraq. You've seen what's happening there. You saw what's happening in Syria. We had the Pope who was just in Egypt, saw the terrible carnage that's going on there. We have Iran that's shooting ballistic missiles and threatening U.S. ships in the Gulf. There's a lot going on in the region. And it's not clear that this should really be a priority amid everything else that's going on.
But this is the gold ring. You know Donald Trump wants to be the guy.
It is the deal.
This is the deal.
This is the deal.
If there's an art of the deal, this is the deal of all deals. Right. So I understand what you're saying, but isn't it possible that if anybody could do this, it could possibly be this administration?
I think he certainly has the chance, and we've seen, we haven't seen him do a lot of international negotiations yet, but I'd point out one example that I think is a good one, which is when President Sisi from Egypt came to the United States. He visited Trump at the White House, and Trump was able to negotiate the release of an American Egyptian that had been held in an Egyptian jail for 3 years. So he's definitely starting to build that track record. I'd also say that, the situation is good regionally in that you have something that has never happened before, which is that Israel and the Sunni Arab states of the Persian Gulf actually get along right now. And that's largely because they see eye to eye on the ISIS threat and on the Iranian threat. And if you can leverage that and you can say, you see eye to eye, let's cooperate and get this done, you might actually have an opportunity.
How closely do you think Israel is watching what's happening at the White House?
Oh, I'm sure they're watching very closely. I think they're very eager to see what comes out of this because what President Trump says, what America says is going to play. And if President Trump says we're going to negotiate a deal, it's very hard for the Israelis to say, oh, we're not interested right now.
Today Abbas credited Donald Trump for his wisdom, and he says that he believes that they can be true partners. Mm-hmm. It really does seem that both parties are believing in Donald Trump here. So I guess I'm going to go back to my first question again, which you said isn't the right question, and it is it going to happen? Can there be a deal?
Well, I'd point out that that Abbas was in Oslo in 1993.
Okay.
So he knows a little bit something about the art of the deal himself.
He does. Okay.
I wouldn't necessarily take everything he says at face value. And he has a very challenging situation at home. He's actually wrestling for control over the Palestinian territories and the Gaza Strip. And it behooves him now to align himself and say, I have the support of the American president, and to try to bring himself closer to Washington. So again, that might be an opportunity. It might just be him dealing and wheeling.
Okay. Thank you so much. Blaise Misztal, Director of National Security for the Bipartisan Policy Institute.
Thank you, Lauren.